9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Yes, everybody, how are we doing? Good morning. It's Friday. Got the sweet Friday vibes. Maybe, maybe not. You can let me know in the comments below. But how are we all doing? We're here to talk about Benjamin Sesko this morning as the main talking point ahead of a busy weekend for United. There's football. We've got Atletico Madrid tomorrow in Oslo. We've got Rayo Vallecano, Erik Ten Hag's first game as Manchester United manager at Old Trafford. We're going to be speaking about all of that. We're going to talk through a predicted 11 later in the show. Who else are we going to speak about? Ronaldo, don't really want to speak about him anymore. I'm going to react to a couple of things that have happened on Instagram that look a bit weird. I'm going to run through comments from Andy Mitten on Frankie de Jong and the situation there. Some updated comments from Laporta on de Jong as well. Also speaking about Ethan Laird, maybe to Watford. Erik Bailly to AC Milan or Roma. Lots to talk about this morning. But of course, we're going to focus on Benjamin Sesko to begin with, as I said. Asan, good morning to you down there, my friend. Dave, good morning to you as well. Collins, I see you there too. Chinadu, got Pat B, Anthony, Tyler, Vicky. There's so many new names in the members list. I don't know who you are, but love to see you all down there. Simon, and who else we got down here? Lots of non-members as well. Who we got on Facebook? We've got John Moore, we've got Mark. Good morning to both of you on Facebook. Usman and Bruno. Not that Bruno. Or maybe Bruno does watch. But look, how are we all doing? I'm sure you're all feeling chipper. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Who knows? But Benjamin Sesko, let's waste absolutely no time. Let's dive straight into it. Now, it was a couple of weeks ago when I first did my video on who should replace Ronaldo or looking at Ronaldo replacements. And Benjamin Sesko was a name that I brought up there. I was saying, look, maybe he's not going to be the first name on the top on people's lists for replacing Ronaldo, but in terms of changing the sorts of transfers that Man United are making, looking at players like Benjamin Sesko might be something that we should be looking at. And lo and behold, we are now in talks with Benjamin Sesko's agents, confirmed by both Fabrizio Romano and Laurie Whitwell. And I'll run through both of those articles here today. Rebbe, you're saying, hi, mate, from Norway. We should push for Benjamin Sesko. You're saying, big fan. Keep it up. Thank you very much, buddy. Look, let's be completely honest. The majority of us didn't know who Benjamin Sesko was a few weeks ago. Maybe the majority of us didn't know who Benjamin Sesko was until this week and that performance against Liverpool. But RB Salzburg, they have a fantastic record of identifying young players, bringing them in and selling them on for good and big profit. And they don't just sell to RB Leipzig. They don't just keep it inside the Red Bull brand. They do sell outside of it. Of course, you've got Erling Haaland, who went from Salzburg to Dortmund. You've got, I think Sadio Mane went from Salzburg to Southampton. I think Minamino was there as well, and he went to Liverpool. They don't just sell to RB Leipzig and keep it sort of in the family. Lars, how you doing there, buddy? Let me know where you're watching from. By the way, later on today, I'll say this before I do begin. Later on today at lunchtime, I'm going to have a full scout report out on Benjamin Sesko. I've already done my research. I'm going to bring that to you so we can all find out a little bit more information on him, and also with some footage from that performance against Liverpool as well, which really was a fantastic performance. Given he knew everybody that was watching him, I thought it was really impressive. But let's dive straight into the news. This is from Fabrizio Romano from his latest YouTube video, saying that Manchester United's interest in Benjamin Sesko is concrete, and we've had direct contact with his agents. And we go over here to The Athletic and we see what Laurie Whitwell is saying on the same situation. He said United have held talks over Benjamin Sesko, the 19-year-old striker of Red Bull Salzburg, but a transfer is seen as complicated. Wow, we wouldn't be Manchester United if it was a simple transfer. Let's be completely honest. But a transfer is seen as complicated because the Austrians do not want to sell. Additionally, the Red Bull model often sees players move between their clubs. With Leipzig, well, I kind of just described that. This is what Fabrizio Romano said in a little bit more detail on the situation with Sesko. He said, look, Salzburg want to sell him next summer. United would have to submit an important bid if they want to sign him immediately. So first and foremost, you'll know that the price being quoted in the press, wow, it was a bit insane this week. It was like 55 million euros for Benjamin Sesko. In your heart of hearts, take your red-tinted specs off. Try and be as completely objective as possible. What do you see as a realistic fee for Benjamin Sesko that RB Salzburg would sell for, and when Manchester United wouldn't just have our pants pulled down? What would you say that price is? Because I don't know anymore. it's really hard to put a price on a player in the modern market because just like mad figures go for players. It's insane money. It's like João Felix when he went to Atletico Madrid a couple of years ago. It was like 108 million for a teenager. That was absolutely bonkers. Let me go down here and I'll see what you're saying in the comments. There's a super chat flying in from Dave. I'll read this one out first so don't miss it, and then I'll head down and see what you're thinking. Let's hope it's going to happen, says Dave. He looks like a baller, so cool and calculating on the ball. And as I said in my couple of videos I did so far, man, his footwork is way too good for a player of that size. He really, really shouldn't be that good. Anthony, right, you're saying 25 million. Let me see what you're thinking. Sanka, you're going 35, 30, 35 million euros, 20 or 45. By the way, when you put your comments down there, if you leave a currency label, a little currency sign, I know exactly what you're talking about, because 35, I have no idea what you're talking about. 35 million euros, 30 million, 45, 30. Well, Steve, you're saying 30 to 40, 35 million. I don't really know, if I'm being completely honest. The unfortunate thing is we don't particularly have precedent, because when they sold Haaland to Dortmund, it was on a 20 million euro release clause. Fuming. Salzburg, fuming. So therefore, you can't really compare that situation, can you? So I might do a little bit of a digging, try and find out, I can do some digging. I'll find out the price they sold like Mane for, the price they sold Minamino for, sort of their prized assets, and see if we can compare that and put it into the market so we can come up with a realistic valuation. But Manchester United are in talks to sign him. Tom, let me know where you're watching from, my friend. Joining us at Friday, we're going to get the map. We're going to get the map up later today as well. Ooh, it's going to be a cracking show. It really, really is. And Benjamin Sesko is an exciting one. There's something that there's something about it in the mystery of football that makes something seem more appealing, if you know what I mean. And Benjamin Sesko, as a 19-year-old, he's what, 4, 5, 6 years off his peak as a player. You've seen what he can do at the moment. He's a physical specimen. He's a physical freak. And I don't mean that in a horrible way, but I mean, like, there aren't many players of that profile in football with the sort of characteristics that he has. But I probably, if I'm guessing, I would say somewhere between 25 and 30 million euros probably piques their interest. But I also said this on Twitter yesterday, and I think this has to be considered a potential option, because if it's completely correct, what both Laurie, Whitwell and Fabrizio Romano are saying about Sesko, in the fact that Salzburg don't want to sell him this summer, and they won't want to sell him this summer. Again, as Dortmund showed with Sancho, it's a bit different though when it's Salzburg, because I think money can change every conversation here. It might just mean that it's more money. It will be a case of maybe we could get a deal agreed for a hypothetical here. We could pay 30 million and get him next summer, and let him be loaned back to the club, or pay 40, 45 million and get him this summer. I mean, it's a lot of dough. It really is a lot of dough for a 19-year-old who's had one season in the Austrian Bundesliga. That was a fantastic season, sure. But it's the prices of players are accelerating massively. And United might end up paying the majority of what City paid for Haaland when he was, well, you know what Haaland was when City have just signed him. Gungshi coming in there, mate. What an absolute ledge with this super chat. Maybe I'll just go out and I'll just buy Sesko. United People's TV will all fund him. You're saying, I think if we want to get Sesko this summer, we might have to pay a relatively high price, as Salzburg want to keep him until next year. P.S. My shirt arrived yesterday. Look at that, my friend. There we go. The shirt reached you in Taiwan. I was worried that it wasn't going to, but it reached you. Big up to you, Gungshi. Thank you very much for the continued support of the channel, and I hope you enjoy the shirt. But yeah, I mean, it's standard Manchester United, right? To go after a player that realistically the club doesn't kind of want to sell in this summer. But money will talk with Salzburg. It's a little bit different to the Sancho situation because of the competitive nature of Dortmund and the fact that they wanted to hold on to him at that particular moment in time. We had to wait a year for Sancho. And it goes, and as Gungshi said right there, if we really want him, there's probably a premium we'd have to pay. Because as I said, there's every chance that United could do with with Sesko what City did with Julian Alvarez. They signed him, I think, from River Plate and then loaned him back to River Plate for the rest of the season. He stayed there, and now he's coming in to City this year. Win-win. But they had to wait for him. Maybe that will be the situation here with Sesko. But we are in talks with his agent. Fabrizio Romano's confirmed it. Laurie Whitwell has confirmed it. The talks have been opened. So let's see what goes on here. It's the 29th of July, and things are going to have to start accelerating fast. The season is really coming quickly. We obviously kick off next Sunday against Brighton. What is that? 9 days until the start of the season. And realistically, the two biggest transfer deals that Manchester United have to do this summer are not done. One that I kind of suppose weren't expecting, and that was the Ronaldo situation. And second of all is Frenkie de Jong. Neither of those are done, let alone with the new attacker coming in. So there's still a lot more to do in this window. There's still time left, of course. But in an ideal situation, as you know, as I know, as Erik Ten Hag has spoken about, you'd have everybody done before the start of the season so you can start planning properly. But maybe that's not going to be the case. And as I said, because, Botan, let me know where you're watching from, my friend. I'll try and give you a shout out if you leave another comment. But because Salzburg have no intention of selling this summer, I think we'd be lucky to get him for 30 million. It's just the way that transfers go. Ultimately, and I've said this before as well, I'm not going to get fussed or upset about the price of a player. I mean, with Harry Maguire, it's used as a stick to beat him with. But ultimately, as fans, we don't really give a shit how much a player costs. We just care whether or not you sign the right player or not. And that's why I'm going to do my full scout report on him going out at lunchtime today, because it's obvious that the Sesko interest is more than just a murmur. United are in talks with him. I'm being told down here it's being confirmed by a couple of other United journalists. And we go down here and see if we've got any updates on that. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. 1 second here. There we go. Right. Further update on that. Let me pull this up for you here. It's come from Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News. He's saying Manchester United football director John Murtough met the agent of Salzburg striker Benjamin Sesko last week. Understood that Murtough rendezvoused with Sesko's agent Elvis Basanovic last Wednesday to gauge the possibility of a transfer. So that's before this game against Liverpool, before anybody comes in and anybody gets hyped and says, oh, United, well, we're just going after a player after they play Liverpool. No, not at all. So I spoke about him a few weeks ago. Maybe, I watched the video and go, you know what, lads, let's go out and try and just... no, I've got absolutely nothing to do with it. But I actually need to get Wirescout access. I definitely need to get Wirescout access. Jibbat, what are you saying here? Think we'll sign anybody else before Brighton? Gut is telling me no. I don't think we will. But I have every confidence that more signings are coming. I just can't put a finger on when. Steve, you're saying, look, as long as it's not in the 70 to 100 million range, then 30 to 50 million deals in the market are reasonable. It's probably something I would tend to agree with, Steve. I'll be honest. Yeah, anything. That's why we couldn't afford. It's not that we couldn't afford Darwin Núñez this summer, because we probably could have if we wanted to. But I don't think we could have afforded the risk of spending 70 to 100 million on Darwin Núñez this summer. I think we could afford the risk of spending 30, 40 million on Benjamin Sesko. And certainly because of the Cristiano Ronaldo situation, it means that we can afford that risk that little bit more. Danny, what are you saying here, sir? Hi, Sam. How's you? I love waking up in the morning, brewing ham, watching the best channel in the world. Thank you very much, buddy. And also, I think we can get Sesko done. Appreciate that comment. I try not to sort of bring comments on screen that are complimentary. Oh, look how good you are. Look how great you are. I don't like inflating the old ego. But thank you very much. Honestly, man. Everybody who joins in. Look, we've got Darko watching from Macedonia. Big up to every single one of you. Make sure you drop a like on the video as well. And I like to think, I'll be honest, I think the way I've covered United this summer has probably been some of the best work I've done. You have to have self-awareness. You have to know what you're doing is good. I've been really happy with the way I've covered United. And I hope that United can deliver, because it's all been a build-up to what happens next Sunday. I told you that. Like, it's all pretty damn irrelevant until next Sunday. And then we play Brighton. But of course, we've got Atletico Madrid tomorrow. I'm going to run through my predicted 11 a little bit later in the show. Don't know why I'm pointing that way when it's over that way. And we've got Rayo Vallecano on Sunday too. Shane, what are you saying, sir? Hi, Sam. Loving that news. We need to invest in up-and-coming talent. He could be worth 80 mil if he goes under Ten Hag, of course. That's what has made City such an enviable business and in terms of how they're run. Now, of course, we can talk about the influx and where the money's come from, X, Y, Z. But they've made like 200 million plus in sales this summer. And their squad doesn't really look any weaker because of it. Because they sign players who 3, 4, 5 years down the line still have retail value. Retail, right? Yeah, no, they have retail value and they have resale value. Someone like Benjamin Sesko, I don't know. Of course he would. You have no idea. He could turn out to be the next Erling Haaland. But as I say, I don't like doing that. I really don't like doing that as a thing. That Benjamin Sesko will be the first Benjamin Sesko. Erik Ten Hag will be the first Erik Ten Hag. He won't be Pep Guardiola V2. He'll be, he'll craft his own path. But United, as I said, repeating myself a little bit now, United are in for him. Fabrizio Romano's confirmed it. Laurie Whitwell's confirmed it. And now, where is it? Over here? No, not that one. Oh, God, too many things. There you go. And John Murto met with his, is that his agent? Yeah. Met with Elvis last week. That's a good one. That's a good one, that is. Let me see what else you're saying down in the comments. Sam brings up those comments all the time, blows his own trumpet. I really don't mean to. I swear on my life. If somebody sends in a super chat, I'll read the super chat out. Of course I will. That's the concept of a super chat. It's because you feel like you want to say something. It'd be rude of me not to say it. Actually, what are you saying? Need Sesko, 6'4", physical. Anthony's more of a winger, 80 million plus. We need a proper centre forward regardless of Ronaldo. Even if Martial's in form, squad depth and options are hardly any right now. Not inside that. Of course that is the case. But I'm excited by the idea of it. As I said, there's something when it comes to my favourite Manchester United signings, it's when I've been able to watch a player come to the club and use Manchester United as this platform to turn themselves into a world superstar. Rooney and Ronaldo are the two obvious standout options. Vidic came in. That was just great scouting. Evra, obviously great scouting. And there's countless others. But for me, you really can't beat signing a player who you've identified properly, who just explodes at your club. That really is the best possible thing. I think so anyway. Lots of you talking about Fabrizio Romano with an update on De Jong. I was already going to cover that quote. I already had that up here, but I'll just pull Fabrizio Romano's up and we'll speak about that a little bit later in the show. Don't worry about that. Robert, what are you saying, sir? You're saying sell Ronaldo for 20 to 30 and use the money on Sesko. I don't think anybody can afford Ronaldo. I've spoken about that. As I said, that video I did yesterday, I've been holding back on doing that video for a long, long time until more of the story developed. It's the last time I'm going to speak at length on the Ronaldo situation. I will cover the couple of minor updates here, but I'll speak about that a little bit later. Lots of you in the comments, of course, over the last couple of weeks been speaking about Anthony. And you know, I've full well that I've tried to sort of temper excitement about Anthony. I said, look, guys and girls, I said, if Martinez's price was 50 million euros and we ended up paying 65 million, then we can't reasonably expect to get Anthony for any less than 80 million, boom, let alone 100 million, because that price has now increased. I always felt we were going to get outpriced of a move for Anthony, and that really is the case. Anthony, as far as I'm concerned, just park that idea in your heads as a fan. Maybe Anthony next summer, because Anthony won't be that much next summer in any way, shape or form. He'd probably be between 50 and 60 million euros next summer, and we'll be able to get him. Simple as that. So in the meantime, if that's the plan for next year, what do you do this season? Do you go for someone like Ziyech? Do you go for someone like Sesko? Hell, do you go for both? And that's something here. I should have pulled that one up, actually, because that's something that Samuel Luckhurst has said as well as that little snippet there. Let me pull this up for you on screen and we can have a quick chat. As always, drop a like on the video, peeps. People say I beg for that, but I'm allowed to ask you to like the video. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a nice little gesture. There you go. Samuel Luckhurst here saying that Man United are in the market here for ideally 2 attackers. And it is ideally, because I think regardless of what happened with Cristiano Ronaldo this summer, Manchester United needed an attacker, didn't we? We needed a new attacker, regardless of whether Ronaldo stayed or whatever happened with him. So the fact that he's leaving probably means we should be getting 2. 51 tries. He's saying, I kind of want to see us on a right back rather than 2 attackers. No, not personally. I know that Delot has really impressed me. If I'm looking at the surprise of the preseason tour, it's Martial and Delot going toe to toe. I don't know which one. Rhymed. I don't know which one was more surprising. But we need some more depth in the champ. We need some more depth up front. We really, really do. And if we don't, then it's really going to hurt Manchester United in the season because we will get injuries. Injuries happen. That's just part of football, and we are going to be left short. I don't know at this moment in time. You can't say I can't say with any real confidence that by the end of the season I'm still going to have as positive an impression of Delot that I've had in preseason. But he's done well. He's still got to learn a little bit defensively. And preseason, it's a bit easier. There's far less defending to do in the first place. So Delot's still got to improve, but I'm kind of happy enough with the options there. I would rather Manchester United go out and spend that money on signing attackers. Anyway, well, after, of course, maybe we've signed a central midfielder. We've somehow forgotten we desperately need a DM. As you're back, I went as far as to do a video because I felt, geez, man, defensive midfielders. I've just banged on about defensive midfielders for so long that it's kind of that ship has now semi-sailed. Erik Ten Hag doesn't want a pure ball-winning midfielder. He doesn't really want an Edson Alvarez type role. He wants like a De Jong and a mini De Jong, effectively. That's what he's probably seen as. And maybe he's brought in Martinez to be that little bit more aggressive from the higher line so that he can semi-operate in a bit of a defensive midfield role and kind of cover a bit of both. And maybe he can do that. But of course, all the focus has been on Frankie de Jong this summer. And then some of you are going to go, Sam, why are you talking about Frankie de Jong? Talk about something else. I'm like, people, it's the biggest story. It's the biggest transfer. It's the priority. We have to talk about him. Because I tell you what, United have been talking about him all summer. My word. Down here, Charlie, I've seen you down there. I've seen you say like four times now. Big up to you, Sigmund, as well. But please don't spam the chat because I do see them all. Andy, what are you saying, sir? Andy, what are you saying, sir? I've got a bit distracted there. Anyway, Andy Mitten has been saying this about Frankie de Jong. He said, I've not been given any evidence, he says, that Frankie de Jong wants to join Manchester United. He said the player is happy there, but Barcelona want to sell him. It's a really unedifying and complex situation, and I still think he'll probably move. And then he also said this. He said, I think Ten Hag must have got some hope that it should go through. I know that when United came to Barcelona for 2 to 3 meetings, United certainly left in an optimistic manner. But going back to what Andy Mitten is saying there, look, maybe I'll hold my hands up and say that I've put all my eggs in the Ten Hag basket. My pure focus on this De Jong situation has always been there is absolutely no way that Erik Ten Hag would have gone this far down the line and got Manchester United to go this far down the line without having, as far as he is concerned, assurances that Frankie de Jong will join if the wages situation is sorted out. And that's always been the stickling point. Stickling point? The stickler and the sticking point. Keel Robinson saying loan swap Ronaldo for Anthony. Yeah, well, it's actually not the worst idea in the world. You're saying Ten Hag will play with a high line, such a high line that the centre-back becomes a CDM. It's a really good point, George, there. That's what I'm saying, that maybe Lisandro Martinez can sort of blend the two roles into a little bit of a hybrid so that he'll operate as a centre-back. Of course, he'll be the last line of defence, but also because he's stepping up a little bit, he can semi-cover a little bit of that defensive midfield role. And it'll be a different sort of defensive midfielder that you sort of know. That's what you know. That's what it is. But with Frankie de Jong, Joan Laporta, the president, has also been speaking this morning, and that was the update from Fabrizio Romano. He's saying this, because Frankie is a Barca player. We want him to stay, and he wants to stay. We've received important bids for him, but he's our player. You know the salary budget situation, so we will do our best to keep Frankie, and I'll hope he'll do the same. If we go over here, there's a little bit more information on that situation. Laporta saying, Frankie de Jong wants to stay in the club, does too. Another thing is the talks we have because there is a new salary structure. We find a high wage bill, hence we have to talk to players. We'll do our best to keep him, and I hope he will also do everything he can to stay. So, Steve, you're down here, and I've seen you're extremely pessimistic about this de Jong deal, and you have been for a long, long time, and quite a few of you have. And maybe I've been sort of naively optimistic and supporting Erik ten Hag. But, you know, as I said, opinions. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions and how they want to interpret things. Barcelona are trying to get their own way with everything. They got their own way with Gerard Piqué when he reduced his wages, and they then signed Memphis. And then they registered Memphis and Eric Garcia. They got their way with Dembele because of long protracted contract negotiations. Nobody came in for him, really. Nobody, and that's kind of an important thing with Dembele. Nobody was willing to pay the wages, and then he ended up staying at the club. He took a big pay cut, and now he's staying at the club. And now they want the same thing with Frankie de Jong, but the difference is here that he's owed a fuck ton of money. That's the difference. That really is the difference. And he has reiterated since day one, I'm not taking a wage cut. I'm not taking a wage cut. I'm not taking a wage cut. Hi, guys. Just to let you know, I'm not taking a wage cut. And you hear Laporta here saying, I told you, this is the perfect situation here. Again, more political talk. You know the salary budget situation. We'll do our best to keep Frankie, and I hope he'll do the same. Therefore, if he doesn't, Barcelona can go, well, we tried. It's selfish old Frankie here. And I'll leave it at that, right? I'm not going to speak any more about the Frankie de Jong situation because I know you seem to get angry with me personally when I speak about it now. But Barcelona are trying everything to try and make de Jong take a wage cut. And we don't know the end of this story. But everything that we've been told so far is that Frankie's not going to take a wage cut. And therefore, we're still stuck in a stalemate. 51 tried saying quotes from him should be dismissed out of hand. I mean, absolutely. Piqué is owed he's owed an absolute ton of money as well, but that's because of everything that he's did past doing that. It's such a complicated situation. They're even talking about, oh yeah, Messi, we're indebted to Messi. Yeah, you were indebted to Messi. Every day for 2 months, this boring saga continues. It's a waste of energy. It's not. It's like people want to shoot the messenger, right? He is our number one transfer priority. He is who Erik ten Hag has been chasing since the start of the transfer window. Go and have a go at Erik ten Hag if you want. I'm just reporting on it. I'm trying to report on it as accurately as I possibly can. Trying not to get too caught up in the hysteria. Sometimes I do. Can't help it. But I try and be as level as I possibly can. But seriously, don't shoot the messenger. Thoughts on grooming Iqbal? If you don't, probably a bad word, grooming. Iqbal. Ten Hag's talked about developing from within. And this is the thing. Like, Ten Hag clearly doesn't just want to spend 30, 40, 50, 60 million on an alternative to de Jong. Because I don't think he feels there will be anybody else out there who can do it. And I think he feels I would rather train somebody up to do that rather than buy somebody for X amount of money and expect them to understand. He'd rather have someone a little bit younger that he can mold into it rather than somebody who's sort of set in his own ways and has been coached into a certain position. That's what I think. Jibak, my worry with Ten Hag is his fixation with specific players. If he is so limited in ability that only Frankie de Jong can make his system tick, then we're in trouble. No, not at all. Again, what you're seeing, in my opinion, how I'm interpreting this, is Erik ten Hag backing his own ability as a coach. He thinks that he would have more success coaching somebody to be the new Frankie de Jong than he would in buying somebody who's already established and coached and set in a certain way and coming in and coaching him. Out of those two choices, he would rather have Frankie de Jong or somebody else that he can mold. Because that's what Ten Hag has done his whole career. He has taken youngsters, he has taken players with talents and turned them into Frankie de Jongs, into Matthijs de Ligt, into Donny van der Beek in 2018-19. That's what Ten Hag knows. That's what Ten Hag knows he's good at. So what's he going to choose? A 50 million alternative to Frankie de Jong, which might not work out, or coaching somebody to be that. That's clearly what his decision has been. Now, you might not like that, but that's what our manager is doing, all right? Easy as that. And Adrian, this is something that actually quite annoyed me about the preseason tour. Why did not one journalist ask Ten Hag about that? Ten Hag was a fucking central defensive midfielder. It really annoyed me that there wasn't one journalist who was there who said, look, Erik, you used to play central defensive midfield. It's a massive problem for United. Why is it that you feel that you can go into the season without assigning a defensive midfielder? What are you looking to do with this United team to cover that area? How do you think that problem can be resolved this season if we don't actually sign a defensive midfielder? It was the perfect question that should have been asked Erik Ten Hag, and no one really spoke about it. No one on this earth can turn Fred, McTominay, and Garner into Frenkie de Jongs. Fred, he obviously feels can do a job. I'm not saying Frenkie de Jong, but he can be 50% of that puzzle, if you want to call it that. I don't think McTominay really can be coached anywhere near the level of that. But obviously, there's youngsters that are coming through. As I said, you can argue all you want, people. You really can, but you're wasting your time. Erik Ten Hag is backing himself as a coach. He doesn't care what you think, and I don't mean that in an offensive way. He doesn't care what I think. He's backing himself to either sign de Jong, and if that doesn't work, I'll coach somebody to work inside that role. But I'm not spending 50 million on an alternative, no matter what anybody else tells me to do. And that's what managers do. They manage how they want to manage. Now, you can think whether that's the right or the wrong thing to do, but that is what's going to happen, all right? And you can shoot the messenger if you want. That's just the situation, right? And you can, as I said, you can be angry about that if you want. But I'm going to have to back our manager, because why am I going to undermine him at this point? And as I said, his track record at Ajax proves that time and time again, he can coach players. Now, it's a bit different because he's coaching players who are coming through the Ajax Academy, who are already schooled in a certain sort of way. But Iqbal and Savage surprised us in the preseason tour, didn't they? Now, neither of them are ready for it. I'm not saying they are. But I'm just trying to, I don't know. I'm trying to be a little bit level-headed on here. Yeah, the whole thing stinks. The whole thing absolutely reeks. And we've just had to deal with it again. And man, of all the sagas we've had, this De Jong one has just blown it all out of the water, isn't it? Blown it out of the water. Ryan, let me know where you're watching from, my friend. I'll try and give you a shout out. And Tumbleweed, what you're saying here. Barca keep dropping public statements, and it sounds like they are panicking with Frenkie de Jong. I wouldn't say they're panicking. I mean, they are panicking. They should be panicking, but they're just trying to turn the gun. They're trying to turn attention away from themselves, and put it on Frenkie de Jong. Martin, I've got press access sorted for the Oslo game, but I've been so damn busy. I haven't been able to. As I said, I love what we do here and I love it, but I'm doing it all on my own. So I haven't had time to do all this and then have time to go there and do both games. So I can't. I don't know when I'm going to be able to go to games this weekend. I need to get that sorted. But Sagan, you're joining as a member. Let me know where you're watching from, my friend, and Ian as well. But Sesko will be ours, says Rahman. Yeah, look at that. He's feeling confident. No, I'm pretty sure he was a central defensive midfielder. Look, I still maintain that we're going to be happy at the end of the summer. I've said that since day bloody one in this transfer window. But there's still a lot to do for me to be proved correct. And maybe I won't be. I won't be upset about that. But I just get that feeling. In terms of the transfer window, there's still so much to do, of course. Bai and Laird, this is from The Athletic, saying both of those are attracting interest after Martinez arrived at the club. We scroll down here and we see what it is. Watford have opened talks with United over Laird, with a season-long loan being discussed. Of course, Laird spent last season on loan in the Championship. A little bit different to what it was if he goes to Watford, who will clearly be promotion favourites. I mean, just gone down. He spent the first half of last season on loan at Swansea, had a cracking loan spell, then went to Bournemouth, who of course got promoted, but he hardly played. So if he goes to Watford, you'd hope that it will be to play regular first-team football. I still kind of think that Ethan Laird should probably stay as the backup to Dalot, but if no one wants Wan-Bissaka, then kind of what do we do with Wan-Bissaka? I don't really know. David, morning Sam, watching from Salford Keys. Yes, my friend. And yes, I have a great view of Old Trafford in my apartment. I'm coming around for a beer, Dave, just to watch. I don't know what I'm going to watch. And you're saying Laird must not go anywhere unless it's on loan. He cannot be sold. Ajax were trying to come after, what is it? Ethan Laird. That was some mad feels like 10 million being like, hold your horses. I did what we need to do in a realistic situation. If Ethan Laird's not going to play football this season, get him to sign a new contract and send him on loan to Watford for the full season. In the same way that we just got Alvaro Fernandez to sign a new contract and sent him out on loan to Preston North End. Do the same thing with Ethan Laird if he's not going to play regular football, and he probably won't. The second one down here, of course, is Erik Bailly. It is understood that reigning Serie A champions AC Milan are interested in him, as well as Roma. What price are we seeing for Erik Bailly? Is there any price being linked with him? No price at the moment. I keep saying, like, if Man United are getting, 10 million for Andreas Pereira? Should be getting a minimum 10 million. Between 10 and 15 million is what we should be getting for Erik Bailly. And Ethan Laird, I agree with Ant down there. I don't particularly want to see Ethan Laird being sold this summer. I don't think that would be a smart move by the club. Personal opinion. But I think he's got the profile of a modern day fullback. And right back is a big weakness of ours. And if he's not ready right now, then maybe we can just loan him out for a year and then he comes back and he's ready. Because the right loan spell can transform players. They really, really can. 15 to 20 mil down here. 50. I think 8 to 10 mil is way underpriced. In my opinion, it's way underpriced. We should be getting more than that for Erik Bailly. But again, that's just opinion. Jonathan, we need to make some money. Sell any of Williams, Twanzebe, Baye, Jones, Tellers, and Laird to beat if need be. It's a long old list, that. Don't think we'll be selling all of them, but we will be selling some of them, and we need to. We know that. Night Owl. I think Erik ten Hag should mould these young players. I believe there's talent in the young squad. Night Owl, there's just as much talent in this young squad as in the same way there was so much more talent inside that first team squad that we didn't see last year. Now we've seen in the preseason tour players playing better. You're like, oh, wow, what happens? Who could possibly have predicted that once those players are coached and drilled and actually motivated enough to listen and execute the work, that they would have been better? Who could possibly have seen that coming, apart from everybody? And that's the same with our youth team. I'm looking forward to see, as I said, before Erik ten Hag came in, it was a bit of a perfect storm for Erik ten Hag to come into this set of academy youngsters with Garnacho, with Hannibal both breaking through, with Charlie McNeil obviously coming through in a year or so. There is a good set of youngsters coming through. It's the first time we won the FA Youth Cup in a decade, if not a little bit more. And Erik ten Hag's coming at the right time to coach them into being top-level stars. And I'm really, really excited to see what goes on there. Someone, of course, mentioning Lord Voldemort on Facebook. Sorry, my friend, you are getting blocked. I swear I blocked those words. Why are they still showing up on Facebook? Really annoying. Neo, not that Neo. Let me know where you're watching from, my friend. I'll try and give you a shout-out. What you're feeling about the game tomorrow. I'm going to run through a predicted 11. Before I quickly do, I want to say a big shout-out and thank you to Bet Victor for supporting United People's TV throughout this whole summer. I want to quickly pull this video up because I'll be honest, it kind of pisses me off. And I feel like this is done for the lures set out and it's to get people nibbling on it. But I just wanted to play a little bit of it.
It's embarrassing. It's as simple as that. I think the fact that the transfer business has been so bad that Martinez is now the new Cannavaro for Man United fans. They think he's Baresi. They think he's Maldini. This guy is a bang average defender at the moment. He's played in a bang average league.
Man, that's pretty much as I can handle that. But that is a general opinion that a lot of people. I mean, that's an opinion that a lot of kind of you have about Manchester United's summer transfer window so far. If you were to give Manchester United's transfer window a grade between A and F, try and be as objective as possible. What would you give it? A to F. What would your opinion be of United's window? Because there's still so much that needs to be done. Of course there is. But to say that Man United's signing Martinez and Eriksen and Malacia is an embarrassing transfer window it's a fucking lie. Because all three of them could be pretty damn good signings for Manchester United this year. They really, really could be. Now, if you could, ladies and gents, right, the link to the video is in the comments. Can you just go over there and just leave an angry comment or something? No, not an angry comment, but just, I think I left a comment on there actually. Just go and like my comment because it's a joke. It's a joke. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to read a few of yours out. You're saying B, De Jong and a 4 will make it an A+. C+, says Garth. Kwame, you're going for a C. Curtly, I wouldn't go for an A. I'm not saying that. I'm probably going to go for... I've gone for a C. Tries, you're going for probably a decent B. C, F. Well, I see there's quite a few Fs down there. About an E. P, I don't know. Didn't say you can go that far. I definitely wouldn't go A, and I definitely wouldn't go F. But for me, it's been a middler. It's been a C. Martinez, the only transformative signing we've made. Eriksson, good supplementary signing. Malacia, oh, that was a nice little surprise. We still need De Jong. We need this Ronaldo situation resolved. As was made a comment up there, I think it was Jibak saying, look, we've done well in selling. We've not done well on selling. We've done well on getting rid or not giving contract extensions to players who didn't deserve them, right? That's what we've done well so far with Lingard, Pogba, Mata, Matic, and Cavani. All gone. Vamos. But we need to sell. Andreas Pereira, mind-blowing. In that sense, that's like the A star of the transfer window so far, is that Andreas Pereira deal. But now we need Erik Bailly, and we need Phil Jones. Both of those need to happen, in my opinion. Then on top of that, you've probably got... I think we need to get rid of Alex Telles. I think that's a waste of salary, is Alex Telles. He won't play this year at all. Andrew, love Bailly, but he needs to improve. Also, don't feel he could cross well enough or running behind to be converted into a right back. And also, I despise Laporta. I don't think Bailly is ever going to get converted into a right back. Erik Bailly, should be sold. Should be sold. But there have definitely been positives. 3 big positives in Eriksson, Martinez, and Malacia so far this summer. And other positives in Pereira, in Dean Henderson going on loan for the full season, in all the players that have left. If you compare our squad now to what our squad was at the end of the season, our squad is infinitely better shaped. But there's still big gaping holes. And it's far from complete. That's why I think it's pretty fair to go for a C at the moment. Really wonky C. So I've got wonky fingers. It's reasonable to go for a C so far. So much more to do. And I wish there wasn't so much more to do. I wish that we could go into this game against Brighton with all our business done. Let's see what else we're saying down here. Carl, tell you you're disagreeing with me completely. How can it be a C? We've not replaced Pogba, Lingard, Cavani. We spent 45 million net. What? So as far as your comment is concerned there, Carl, if we had just spunked 150, 200 million, then our window would be an A because we've spent a ton of money. We've spent an absolute bucket load of money over the last few years, and we spent it crap. How much money United spend in a transfer window is not a measure of whether it is a good or a bad summer. No, spending it correctly, smartly, that's how it is a good or a bad summer. Quite a few of you are asking for the link to the video. Let me quickly get that here for you here. And then you can head over and leave. Yeah, there you go. There's the link to the video. If you can go over there and just leave your... As I said, I've left a comment on there. Just like my comment or reply to it. I don't know. Of course, we've got to spend money. Right? I'm not saying that right now it's a C, and I think that's a fair estimation of where our window is at the moment. By the end, I hope we get towards an A, but whether or not we get towards an A probably does depend on a certain Frankie de Jong. I think we know that. Lots of you asking here, and of course it's map day. I haven't forgotten, people. Come on. Sometimes I don't know whether I've ever actually forgotten. It's Fable Map Day, which means that 3 or 4 of you are getting added onto the map here in a quick 90-second segment. Let me know where you're watching from, both the country and the town in your country, and I will add you onto the map. We have got now 309 points on the map, and the latest points we've got District of Columbia in USA, we've got Slootdorp in North Holland, and Wanganui in New Zealand. It's wicked. It's absolutely wicked. Let's see who else we can get down here on the map. Durban and Joburg are both already on the map, my friends. I won't be adding those on, but you are definitely already on the map. Who else we got down here? Oh, look at that. That's cool. Where'd you go? Darko, you can come on, sir. Negotino in Macedonia. That's wicked. Was Macedonia where Goran Pandev was from? I think he was. Have I spelled that right? Negotino in North Macedonia. Boom. I'd love to go and visit that part of the world. Wicked. Who else we got down here? Let's have a look. Watching from Aalborg in Denmark. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you too. Let me spell that. Alborg. Yes, Alborg from North Denmark. You're on the map. Welcome aboard. Let's get one more on here. Oh, yeah, let's get another South Africa on there. Shane watching from Lanesburg in South Africa on Facebook. How you doing, Shane? Thank you very much for joining in, my friend. Lanesburg in Western Cape. On you go. Woof. Right, let's get one more. Why not? Let's get one more on here. Let's have a look. Who else you got down here? Sharmak watching from Minnesota in the US of A. On you go, sir. Minnesota. Boom. I mean, that's a state. Technically, it's not a town, but I think it's a state anyway. Might just embarrass myself. But on you go there, sir. Welcome aboard. Thank you, everybody, for sending. Honestly, if you saw how many messages I receive on here every time I ask for this, it just puts a big smile on my face. It really, really does. The engagement from the community is genuinely heartwarming. And it's wicked. So thank you all for just making this community what it is. Ray, you're saying, hi, Sam. I think what people are failing to see with Ten Hag is his first season. Probably not truly his first window where he's had time to scout players. I mean, Ray, that's a point that I've made for quite a few times now. It is that he's just kind of trusting his own instincts. That's what I think so anyway. But look, I said I'm not going to talk about Ronaldo. I'm not talking about Ronaldo, but I am talking about the game that's happening this weekend. Ronaldo is set to miss the Atletico Madrid game to focus on his fitness. Almost like he's missed all of pre-season. Almost like he probably is going to be weeks behind everybody if he does stay at the club. He's not going to be playing against Brighton. He's probably not going to be playing against Atletico Madrid. Well, he won't be playing against Atletico Madrid. Of course, this has happened this morning, and it's a bit weird. Ronaldo decided to reply to this message on Instagram. Jorge Mendes told Manchester United Ronaldo is adamant about leaving, but Mendes left negotiations less than positive that Ronaldo would get his move. Fergie has intervened, and then Ronaldo replied saying, impossible not to talk about me. Honestly, the only thing I want to say about it is it's really sad to see Ronaldo stooping to the levels of that, of replying to Instagram posts and sort of just getting down and dirty. Ronaldo should be above that. He should be above this whole thing, but he isn't. It's a bit weird. I don't like it at all. And as I said, that's kind of the last thing I want to say about it, because I want to focus on what I've got at Manchester United, which is a positive. And if we've got that, let's speak about the game tomorrow, right? We've got 5-10 minutes to wrap up the show. Let's talk about our predicted 11 for the game against Atletico Madrid, all right? Now, some of you in the comments, as you always do, like to troll. Let's see if Fabrizio Romano has actually tweeted anything or whether or not you're just replying in the comments to say nothing. Let's have a look. Nope, absolutely nothing. Of course. I don't get why people do that. It must be very, very insignificant that that's the only thing you want to do in a comment. Right, some training pictures from yesterday. And I'll be honest, there's no training pictures of Christian Eriksen or Lisandro Martinez. So, presumably, neither of them trained. And presumably, neither of them will feature against Atletico Madrid. Maybe they'll play against Rayo Vallecano, though. That's Diogo Dalot there. That's Facundo Pellistri and Shoda Tire, who I presume is going to get a loan spell. We've not heard much of him. Ethan Galbraith is back there training with the team, but he didn't go on the preseason tour. Presumably, a loan spell or staying with the under-23s. There's Donny, there's Rashford and Sancho, both been in cracking form. Fred, Bruno, and Victor Lindelof with Ahmad and Fred there. Who's that? Tom Wooster. Not too sure who he is. Scott McTominay is back in training there. So you can probably presume that he might be playing tomorrow. It's an interesting conversation. Jason, let me know where you're watching from, my friend. You try to be so positive that you ignore what's happening. Not at all. It's almost like I did a video entirely yesterday on the whole Ronaldo situation. I always speak about the truths of Manchester United. I just try not to get stuck in the mud and just like project this pure voice of negativity, because it will drag you down, man. And I tell you what, we've had enough. We as United fans have fucking had enough of that, man. For years and years and years and years, we've been a joke of a football club. And the only thing I can say with real confidence about this year is we're not going to be a joke anymore. We might come up short. We might lose more games than we think that we should. There might be a lot of frustration, but we will not be a joke anymore. And that is probably why I'm going into the season with real optimism and confidence. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really, really am. Look, so we've got new numbers confirmed. Pogba's number 6 has gone to Lisandro Martinez. Was that Lingard's number? I think it was. Christian Eriksen getting number 14, leaving number 21 free. Interesting. But this is my predicted 11 for the game tomorrow. I'm not going to do a separate video on it because I want to focus on Benjamin Sesko this afternoon. If you're looking at how, fan channels, the concept of fan channels online, I don't particularly feel there's much value in doing a predicted 11 before every single game, because that video only exists for a day. And I think what I'm going to be doing is quite a lot of this is members only content. So we'll be doing more of these. We'll do a little bit of preview, stuff like that. But I'm probably going to keep it for members only. So if you'd like to be involved in that, I'd love to have you as part of the family. Quite a few of you joining as members here today. And yeah, it's getting bigger and better, and I love it. But look, this is what I've gone for as a starting 11 tomorrow. Of course, as I said, there's no Martinez in there and there's no Christian Eriksen in there. If there was, then I would be replacing Victor Lindelof and I'll be replacing Scott McTominay. Right? I think this is probably going to be the starting 11 that plays Brighton. I think so, maybe. It depends how fit Eriksen and Martinez are. Maybe they're fitter than I think they are, but I think maybe he'll wait one more week. He'll get another week of training under their belt before either of those two happen. But Scott McTominay, it's either Scott McTominay or Donny van de Beek there. Who do you think? Let's be honest. Neither of them impressed enough in the preseason tour. McTominay or van de Beek. Kind of invisible from both of them. But one of them has to play this game. You can let me know who you think that would be. What you're saying down here. Alex Tellers is pants at best. Yeah, he really is. What you're saying? Retired at 7, it's cursed. Well, yeah. And the number 7, man. People are sort of obsessed on numbers. No, not obsessed on numbers. I told you that before. The number 7 used to mean a lot to me as a United fan, but now it's just a number. It doesn't have that same allure anymore. Quite a few players have made sure that is the case. Let's have a look, see what you're saying in the comments down here. Van der Beek has done nothing since. He obviously had a good cameo against Crystal Palace, but Donny van der Beek hasn't done enough. Donny van der Beek got outshone by Zidane, Iqbal, and Charlie Savage in the same way that McTominay did too. Chuck in Iqbal and it sends a message. I don't think he'll start him. I don't think he'll start him in this game. I don't. This is what my gut's telling me. This is just a predicted 11. I'm not saying that this is the right thing to do, but I'm saying this is my predicted team. Of course, you could see, and I'm sure a lot of United fans would love to see this. You could well see that, and that looks like a cracking. That looks like a better midfield than it does with Scott McTominay in there. So maybe we'll see that. Either way, I'm looking forward to these games at the weekend. The preseason tour has allowed us to have a degree of positivity based on what we're seeing in front of us and the proof in front of our eyes, rather than just like blind hope. And that's nice. Preseason ultimately doesn't mean anything in terms of the results, but it does mean a lot in terms of momentum and what you're seeing and the patterns at the beginning. Let's see if we can continue that. Atletico Madrid, of course, will be one of the toughest games we've had so far. Looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward to seeing if we can continue to play how we did in the preseason tour, or whether it was just a flash in the pan, which I don't think it was. But look, I'll be here for the game tomorrow. My match reaction will go out straight after the full time. It'll be up within like 20 minutes of the game. Later on today, please make sure you check out this video. I'm going to do plenty of work into it, so it's as detailed as possible. A proper scouting report on Benjamin Sesko, because as Fabrizio Romano confirms here, and as Laurie Whitwell confirms here, and Samuel Luckhurst confirms here, Manchester United are in talks over a move for Benjamin Sesko. Let's see whether this can materialise or not. Not sure. But thank you all very much for joining in today. A cracking show, a busy show. I've answered as many questions as possible. I tried to. They're really, honestly, if you saw how many comments flying every day, you'd be like, how the hell do you read any of them out? I know. I try my best. But thank you all very much for subscribing, watching, dropping a like on the video, and all the new members. And I'll see you soon. And big up to Gungshi and everybody else who supports the channel with your super chats, man. Honestly, it really does all just go back into the channel. Big up to everyone. Have a cracking weekend. I'll see you soon.